Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Saco City Council meeting for Monday, October 6, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Before we start the official meeting this evening and call that to order, we do have two joint meetings tonight. First one, we are meeting with the school board to get some updates, and then we will be having a meeting with the Long Range Planning Committee. So first off, I'd like to welcome the school board members and Superintendent Ray.
All right, good evening, everyone. It's great to see everybody here tonight. Clearly, I was not the person that brought the crowd in. Doesn't usually happen that way, but welcome, everybody. If you want some of our handouts, I have a few in the back, because I, again, didn't expect more than the standard 25 that I create every time. I have a few items that I would like to share with you guys tonight, and certainly jump in, as we have in the past, about any questions on kind of an update of several things happening on the school side. We're off to a great start this year. Anytime it can be October and you have 80-degree days, you're feeling pretty good about things. Our goal is always to keep the heat off in the buildings just as long as we possibly can, because several of our buildings on the older sides, once you turn those on, it's hard to turn back on those and warm the buildings back up. One item that was not on the agenda tonight for the things that I talked would be just to update you guys. As you saw at the beginning of the school year, when we had a water leak at Fairfield School that broke in a very unique part of the building as it comes into the building. And I think that water pipe, which it was built when the building was built back in the 60s, Don, we estimated that that was encased in approximately 4 to 6 feet of concrete throughout all of it. And so as we were looking at the fix options, Don and I quickly turned to the option that would cost about $40,000 versus the $125,000 by trying to bust out all of that concrete, knowing that we could be using the building for a few more years. But boy, we're very lucky to have Don and his team working with us. I've said time and time again, one of the better things that we've done is combining the departments with the city, great communication, working on problems together. It's just, I want you guys to hear how well it's going from the school's perspective. It's going great. I have 4 main topics I want to talk to you about. And the first one tonight is I want to talk about enrollments of where we are right now in our city. Currently, our pre-K through 8 population is at 1,898 students with 144 multilingual learners. On the high school side of things, we have 891 students, and we're still working on residency and verification of about another 10 to 12 students, with about 25 multilingual learners. And then we see the highest number of kiddos in several years attending vocational programming. Vocational programming is up everywhere, but we are at 115 Saco students who are attending the Biddeford Regional Center of Technology, which also has its highest count ever of students attending, which is really exciting for us. Overall, we have 2,789 students, and I have provided breakdowns for all of you throughout different enrollments, the increases, the decreases of where we are combined. As a general overview, what you can see is our enrollment is down this year. And one of the very big reason is that we had 60 plus students who were staying at the hotel that is now closed. And so really that's where that change has been, is that those students are no longer in the district. And as you can see, our multilingual count has gone down because of that. We see steady of growth or maintaining what have been families who are residents in town that have been long-term residents or new to the town. That seems to just be at the same rate, not a lot of growth in either direction. And then just when I touch on this vocational piece, and I'm going to touch on it a little bit again when I talk about the budget piece of where we are budget-wise, is that when you look at our high school students in 2022-23, 65 Saco residents were going to the vocational programming, and now that's up to 115 students. People are paying attention. Our families are paying attention. Our students are paying attention because AI is changing so much. And there's quality programming, and kids, we all know what it's like to call any of the trades for something that we need. There's not enough, and our young people are responding. And so what we do with these enrollment numbers is we finalize them over the next month. They tend to pretty much settle in after this point. The first 3 or 4 weeks can be a lot of fluctuation. This will be about where we're going to be for the remainder of the year. And then we have a snapshot on enrollment again on April 1. So on enrollment trends, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for the superintendent? Counselor Hatch?
Thank you, Mayor McPhail. Jeremy, I just want to expand a little bit on the residency verification.
Mm-hmm.
You got about a dozen students there, and if I do the math, that's a fairly significant number to the taxpayers.
Yes.
So can you educate me and the public as to what are some of the primary causes of this issue, and then what steps you take to make sure that you have adequately verified residency?
Yeah, so when we talk about residency verification, we look at a couple of forms of ID. One of those is a driver's license, and this was something that I learned over the last couple of years, but if you move, you're required by law to change your driver's license within 30 days. Nobody wants to go spend any more time at the DMV, and it might take you an appointment to get that renewal at this point. But that's the big piece. Voter registration, making sure that people are registered and or have voted in the community that they say they live in. Making sure they have a lease or a valid bill in their name is something that we look at. We know that we experience a lot of homelessness within our schools, so sometimes that can be a factor that we may not know what's going on, or sometimes people move, but their children have a connection to a community. And we'll see a duplicate address come up, and we'll be like, okay, that's 2 different families, what's going on? And we'll have to reach out and make sure. We'll see a kid who, at times, you're like, okay, that kid always took the bus, and this would be for all sectors of our school. This kid always took the bus, and now this year, they're late a lot. So is there something going on, or are they really not at that address anymore? So as we go through that verification process, we make sure that the taxpayers of Saco, to the best of our ability, are supporting the students who live in town. And sometimes that can be a little bit more challenging than others.
No, I appreciate that, and I think it's important for folks to understand that there is a very good vetting process that gets us to that final conclusion, and in fairness to everybody should be in play. Thank you.
Counselor Hewitt?
Do we have numbers on how many students are being homeschooled and attending private schools?
I don't have that off the top of my head. Something I can get. I just didn't include. I can include it next time, or I can get that number. I know that for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, we have, and again, I can get to a spreadsheet on that, is that there's probably around 40-ish kiddos whose families elect to pay for them to go to TAMS. Internally, you tend to have 3 or 4 kids a grade level that may attend St. James School. And then you're going to have, you may wind up having 40 kids at home school. some of them for multiple different reasons. But yeah, it's not uncommon to see that piece.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Moving on.
Right. All right, the second item that I have to share with you tonight is I just want to share with you some data that I found really interesting that was shared with superintendents by the United Way, because I think it's always important for us to recognize what's going on in our community and with our taxpayers and with our working families. And so while I won't take a ton of time on this piece, I did include the presentation because, you know, again, United Way was asking for donations that night. But what they were talking about was the term ALICE, which is asset limited, income constrained, yet employed. And this information is about York and Cumberland County together, but you have 37% of your households in York and Cumberland County that fall into this category. And what this category talks about is what is the basic survival budget in southern Maine for a family of four. As I learned from some members in the audience here tonight, they might use this data again. And I don't blame them, because an annual survival budget of a family of four in York and Cumberland County is $107,892. Now, the federal poverty line is $32,000. So there's a gap of $75,000. And when you think about a survival budget for a family of four of $107,000, we, as a municipality, or I look at it as as the employer for the Saco School Department, is that, you know, it would be very easy for us, and in several situations, to think about a 8-year teacher married to a support staff member, working in the district with 2 children, and it's under this amount. And so when we think about, from the employer side of things, what I see as one of our biggest challenges is housing for staff and housing costs. And the housing budget based off this information of affordability, or what they're paying, is a little over $2,000 a month on those pieces. And so I wanted to bring this to your attention because this is the communities that we live in. And if you flip one more page, or I'm going to say 2 more pages, it provides you the information of where your community is. And we talked about 37% combined, and Saco is over the 40% mark. And so if you're looking at slightly 40% of our residents are not quite, don't have enough for the basic survival budget in York and Cumberland County, that's a problem that we all are facing together, because it has impacts in all sectors. And so this information's there for you. I know that we talk a lot about it in our school budget side of things, of the needs that we have for students, hiring piece. You guys know how much of a supporter of the free lunch program I am. I believe all kids should have that, and so does the board, because when you look at who we are, $107,000, boy, when I was growing up in down East Maine, to think that $107,000 was a lot of money. And I would have dreamed, you know, thought like, okay, you had everything. Been very fortunate, but there's a lot of things on those lists that our families don't, that's not on that survival budget that a lot of families need. And so we really need to think about this piece as we think about our community and how people can survive with what's going on here. So take any questions about that piece.
Any questions for the superintendent? Councilor Berman?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Superintendent. It's new information for me and a little bit startling. Is the school board and the school department going to use that information to rethink wages for teachers and educational staff? Is there starting to be some long-term thinking about that? Your example of an 8-year teacher and you know, educational aid is pretty illuminating.
So where it puts us as a school department is, one, we've had this couple of weeks. Number two, I'm thankful that this summer, we put a lot of work into getting a really large increase for our support staff members over the last year. But it still probably doesn't cut it. But just like you guys, we're in the same place of trying to balance all of the needs that we have in our communities. My heart says one thing, and then sometimes the reality that we get here that we all have to try to deal with, and the school committee is the same way as elected officials. It's tough. What we can promise to do is to try to get every grant, every opportunity, and find every efficiency out there so that you can put the money into the places where it matters. And again, for me, making sure kids have coats, food in their stomachs, and that, you know, we try to have worked really, really hard on the school department side to make sure that any of the offerings that we have inside the school department, from after-school clubs to field trips, are not something that's separated by the amount of money that you have in your back pocket. It needs to be access for all kids, all the same. And if we're going to X place, it shouldn't be about which family can spend $20 and which one can't. And that's something we've worked really, really hard on and will continue with.
Anyone else? Okay.
Okay, let's talk about something hopefully a little bit happier. Took that stuff first, and we'll get to some exciting things. Just want to give you an update on where we are on the 2 school buildings, okay? On October 22nd, here at 2 p.m. in this room, will be the bid openings. We were planning on this week. We had a couple of the major contractors come back out, and their subs were looking for more time. This is a complicated project because you're building one building with some local funds, you're building a large building with state funds, and there's a lot of making sure that costs are in the right pile. And so on October 22nd, we will have that bid opening here. After the bid opening, we'll be working with the construction companies and negotiating the final contracts, and things will start just as soon as possible. It might be some groundwork that starts immediately. Officially, at 11 a.m. on December 4th, at the construction site, we will have a groundbreaking. Not the ideal that we wanted, but we'll watch the weather that upcoming week for the groundbreaking piece, and you all will be invited, because really, when you think about the investment in Saco education that's happening, this will be probably the biggest event that will be happening over the next 50 to 70 years, hopefully, and in the past, because this is an exciting time for us. Just want to also update you that if you remember, and again, it seems like our government has several different funding bills that roll and roll, and you can't keep track of them all. But there was a lot of work, and Kevin worked with us, that we lobbied hard for a tax credit to stay in place for geothermal. That stayed in place, and we are working on making sure that we can get that rebate for the Saco taxpayers and for the city. What's a little bit challenging is, again, the two buildings and making sure that we capture all costs. We'd initially hoped for $1 million in that, and there's some consideration right now, and they're still working on things that could be significantly larger than that. So we're going to continue to work on that piece and hopefully reclaim as much as we possibly can in this energy tax credit that we have. So I'm happy to take any questions about the building. One thing that I will add is that for you members here and for the public, that the target date is an opening in the fall of '28. So fall of '28. So if you have a kindergartner, we're hoping that their first third grade experience will be in a brand new school.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
All right, moving on. So let's talk about budget. And this will lead us into, some estimates here, because as you know, auditing situation, they're behind in a lot of situations, but we have some preliminary numbers. And the first thing, just making sure that on Wednesday night at the middle school, you did get an invitation to walk through at 6:30 to look at all of the work that we've done at Saco Middle School over the last 3 or 4 years with the support of the school committee, the council, the teams that are working on making sure that when we open 2 new buildings, that the other buildings we've taken care of along the way. And we've done a lot of work there and would love for you guys to see, get your eyes on it. But as we start thinking about that building and making sure long-term investments, we know that at some point in time, the bond that people voted for will come on the books. But we need to be prepared over the next couple of years before those payments to finish up the projects there. And we still have a portable left up at SMS that we're hoping that we will be able, through this year's budget process in spring, to be able to solve that problem without having an impact on taxpayers. If you remember 5 years ago, when we started working with you guys and I came on as superintendent, I believe we owed the city about $1.5 million at that time. And we were happy at that time to quickly pay that back to the city. And I kind of want to talk to you about where we stand as of today. So when we started, and this number has at least run through the draft audit, okay? When we started working on our budget, we had $2.7 million in fund balance. We used some of that fund balance in this last school budget for FY26 to apply main care funds, which several years ago we talked about, prior to my time, about $1 million of revenue. We delivered on that promise finally this year and brought in $1 million worth of main care funds, but we are anticipating next year $650 on the conservative side. We looked at undesignated funds for capital improvement of $450,000 so that we can continue to do more work at the middle school. We know that we had a health insurance increase last year that was slightly larger than 10%, and we used additional fund balance. We had capital improvements of another $150, an audio enhancement system at SMS for $190, and some network cabling, which would have brought our current fund balance down from prior year to $1.1 million. We are also estimating, because of several different pieces of more main care dollars and other revenues and non-expenditures in the budget, that we'll have a remaining of about $2.1 million in the FY25 budget. So we are projecting, and again, unaudited, but we are projecting just north of a fund balance of about $3.2 million with our hopes of continuing and taking care of any of the capital improvement needs at SMS, and at the same time, looking at removing that last portable that's there and building a structure, hopefully, that would be similar to what was built at Young School, with really having a focus of knowing that our students are making some choices around vocational education, of thinking about how you could bring some of that middle school hands-on experience into the school through, we have a great wellness program that starts the basics of culinary and cooking and building them something that would be appropriate. There's a lot of interest in the culinary program at the vocational center, trying to figure out how more of our kids can get their hands on small engines and repairs and shop-type classes, looking at STEM and innovation, and also our kids are living in a digital age of video creation and content, and figuring out how we can kind of build some pathways for our middle school students that would lend to certifications in the future. Additionally, this would allow us to kind of reconfigure the school a little bit to make it a little bit more of an inclusive environment, with not having certain wings that are dedicated to certain programs, but having a greater mix throughout the building. So budgetarily wise, school committee, city council, thank you for the support you've given the students. And we've tried to manage those funds in a way that we can prepare ourselves for any of those future needs building-wise as we step into and look forward to FY '28 or the fall of '28, when we're opening a couple of new schools and have a middle school that we're really proud of at the same time as far as the structural features.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on those items? Okay. Was that everything for you right now? Bringing up Director Roth?
That's it for us.
That's Director Roth, did you want to come up and give a quick facilities update?
Good evening, everybody. I got my deputy director sitting here, Andrew Saxo, if nobody's met him before. This is my right hand and everything guy right here. I want to take just 1 minute and just say how much I feel like this is working almost better than we thought it would. But it's because of Andrew and my guys and the school, Jeremy, the city working with me to allow this to happen. Everybody has given us the tools that we need, from the vehicles to the actual tools to the help that we have, the patience to give us. We're in our first year. We just hit it pretty much this month. So we've got a lot accomplished this year. Emily asked me to give an update. My quickest way of an update was to print everything out, because I could stand here and talk about it all night long. So working with Jeremy on a lot of our projects that we've been doing, we have brought the schools that I feel we've got them back into the safety areas that we need, from fire valves to sprinkler systems to even all of our floors that we've maintained, changed the way that we handle them, changed the way that we finish them, dealing with our custodians to make sure they understand why we want to do it that way, and doing that same project. Heat, as Jeremy mentioned, is another big deal, and that's not just in the schools. Remember, that's in the city as well. So they kind of go hand in hand. We use some of our same vendors in between to save some money, which has been another great asset of doing this whole facilities group together, that I can use my same vendors and go back and forth and sometimes bounce one vendor off of another to kind of make that help a little bit. It also strengthens our service a little bit more, where I'm using these certain vendors, they seem to jump for us a little bit quicker. And right now, in the facilities world, contractors and vendors it's a difficult item. I've been doing this for the city for almost 10 years now. Back 10 years ago, we could call somebody, bring them in, give you a quick one, like a toilet repair, and it would be $200. You bring an outside vendor in now to do a toilet repair, you're talking $500 to $700. If we can do that in-house as much as we can do in-house, which is what we're doing, it saves a ton of money. It really does add up really quick by doing those things that can be done by our staff. We just recently hired we lost one of our maintenance techs for the school in June. We just hired a new gentleman on who's got 25 years of experience. Jeremy allowed me to bring him in. We gave him the pay that he needed, and he has been fantastic. I mean, he's literally closing work orders by the day as quick as we can give it to him. He's very friendly with the teachers. He's very friendly with the staff. He's easy to get along with. It's a great fit so far. One of the papers I handed to you, some of you have it, is this blue page. This is what we're heading towards. This is our generator report. This is the new generator that we installed up at the middle school. I get a report every Sunday that tells me it's running, that tells me that it's shut off, and it's okay. Then monthly, I get this report. I work real close with our safety people and the fire department, police department. We want to do this at all of our generators, so I get this report every single month, every single week. Even some of our generators that we just found out about, the one at Burn School, Andrew and I got a call for a bad odor upstairs. Somebody thought we had a gas leak. The company that installed it had set it to run on Tuesdays. Well, it hadn't run for almost a year because it hadn't been serviced. It ran the first Tuesday that school started, and the exhaust went up into the classrooms. So we reprogrammed it to run on Sundays instead. So I get this list that cranks out on Sundays on my email. I'd like to do this for all my generators. We're dealing with a new contractor right now that we just started with, and I'm hoping we can work something out with him where we can have that as well. So when we're having a snowstorm come in and we have to have an EPMA meeting or something to get along with the safety, I can pull these up and look at it and know that all my generators are ready to go. They're all set to go, and we've had all of the service on them that we need. The facility projects, summer and fall, these are just a bunch of things that we've done. I already had talked to the school board one night about a lot of these. This is that capital money that Jeremy had talked about that we were allowed to use to catch up on some of these things. Right now in the city, security is a big deal. We want to keep our doors working correctly. We want to keep our doors functioning properly. Andrew has become he is the door guru right now. Finding parts for them isn't always the easiest of the age of them, but we're doing pretty well with them and getting by, and we've replaced the ones that we need to, just for that reason. Real quick on the water main break, we probably, in the real world, that would have been a week to a 2-week school shutdown. Because of our group, Public Works, Shaw Brothers, Poland Spring, the school department, my electricians, Andrew, my guys from the city and from the school, we lost 2 days of school. We were able to get everybody back in there again. We did it for a fraction of the cost. I thought Shaw Brothers was very reasonable for us to give us a hand. They happened to be already down at wastewater. All of their equipment was there. They just slid it up. Like I said, we had the kids back in school on Wednesday, and we just finished almost all of it today with a final. The teacher is back in her classroom. They had a book fair there today. All the kids are where they need to be. So it was, and the fact that it was probably $100,000 to $120,000 less by the way it all worked out. So it was a pretty positive run. We broke ground today on our new facilities building finally. We were up there today working with the contractor. He'll be starting to dig tomorrow. We've got that all lined up. We've got a few more big projects, as you can see on our facilities projects working list here. Not just schools, but we do the city as well. We are putting everything together in our work orders, are all through Maintain X and School Dude. We keep work orders flowing for both sides. The school helps us, we help the schools, depends on the size of the project and what we're doing, but we're managing to really work well together right now to keep everything functioning the way it is. All of those projects on there that you see are already pretty much paid for in the capital plan. I put those in last year on the city side. These aren't costing any extra money. We managed to save almost $80,000 on the roof over at Parks and Rec, which we were able to leave back in our exterior line for our capital plan and do some other stuff with it. We did the roof out here, we did all the windows on City Hall. A lot of that stuff, if we can watch our funds and have that ability to use it on the capital side, we can get stuff done pretty quickly, and I feel like pretty reasonably, even though everything's expensive. But any questions I can answer for anybody or anything?
Thank you. No, we do appreciate everything you and your staff are doing. Any questions or comments for Director Roth? Councilor Hatch?
Thank you, Mayor McPhail. I just want to echo sentiments that have been expressed already. In real estate, when you're managing the number of properties that we have to manage, proactive engagement in the long run is a lot less expensive than reacting to errors and issues that occur. So I'm pleased, first of all, to know that we're doing as much as we can with middle school, because we owe it to the middle school kids to have a facility that is as good as it can be for their own learning experience. And I do want to commend you, Donnie. Councilor Berman and I were afraid you were going to take us through every line item in this.
No, that's why we'll do it quick.
Thank you for not doing that. But I think it's testimony to the effort that you put in. You take care of these properties like they're your own. And I think taxpayers need to appreciate the effort that goes into what you do and all the people that are supporting that effort. So I wanted to say that publicly, and this is just all good stuff, and it will save us a lot of money in the long run. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, that's it. Any questions for the council from the school board members? Okay, thank you so much for coming, guys. And that's council Wednesday night, 6:30 at the middle school for a quick tour. Okay, as we transition over, I'll just take a minute or two. We'll be asking the Long Range Planning Committee to come on up and take the front seats.
I'll flank over here.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome.
Thank you for having us this evening. If you'll bear with me, I'll just put on the Deputy City Administrator hat, as I've been working with the Long Range Planning Committee here for some time. And I'll just give a brief overview. We're going to present a brief overview of where things are at from our end, and then open it up to some questions. So a recap of our year in review. We had meetings on January 13th, February 3rd, April 29th, June 23rd, and August 14th. Our next meeting will be on October 28th from 5 to 6. Just a quick summary of some major initiatives for long-term plans and ordinance review. We had a subcommittee review of design review standards. A lot of that was diving into comments brought forward by Councilor Hatch, so we're appreciative of that. That put us up for a good position to have red lines of ordinance amendments that we are working through, and I'll speak a little bit about that later on in the presentation. For long-term plans and studies, I'm really appreciative to this group for being providing so much comment on the Portland Road Master Plan, as well as for being very engaged on the Housing Action Plan. And then for workshops specific to the Long Range Planning Committee, we talked about growth in residential zones, specifically along the new county road corridor. We also had a workshop to discuss the new state housing statutes, as well as a tracking sheet to make sure that we were following along with the new state housing rules. So a brief overview of the Housing Action Plan. I know we've heard a lot about it. It is moving forward in the timeline that was prescribed. We had a kickoff here with City Council back on March 17th. Public listening sessions were on April 22nd, May 7th, and June 4th. As you can see, we chose focus areas, so appreciate everyone's participation in that. On July 22nd, we had a public workshop joint with the Portland Road Plan as well as the Housing Action Plan. I do have a draft of the Housing Action Plan that I've recently received that will be going back to the Long Range Planning Committee as the next step for additional feedback and input. But we wanted to make sure that this plan was very driven by public comment and had a very good process to it. Simultaneously, we've been working on a Portland Road Master Plan. The Long Range Planning Committee kicked this off with a vision statement process in 2024. We had council presentations in February 2025. We had 2 business breakfasts in collaboration with Economic Development on March 26th and then on May 21st. And then we had a public workshop jointly on July 22nd where we also discussed the Housing Action Plan. And then we did a survey in summer 2025. And I just want to say, appreciate a lot of staff input and help along the way. We have staff members that sit directly on the Long Range Planning Committee. You've seen them sit up here with the committee before, but they've been very engaged in this process, as well as communications has been very helpful in helping us bring these public workshops to fruition and then helping us market the events along the way. So the next step for the Portland Road Master Plan is to return to the Long Range Planning Committee with updates from that process and from GP Cog, who's our consultant on that process. And then the other thing that the LRPC has been working on are the housing updates. We talked about this a little bit with the planning board at the last joint meeting. And we had talked about at September 22nd, we talked about the process going forward when we had the planning board and city council here. We will also be asking for input from the Long Range Planning Committee, and that has already happened for the site plan review ordinance. The other ordinances, we will be vetting through and making sure the red lines match the state law requirements and be presenting those to you shortly as well. And then similar to the last meeting, just a reminder, we'll have new business review to be scheduled in the future, probably after our new city planner is on board. And we will have some anticipated drafts relatively shortly of the Housing Action Plan and then of the Portland Road Master Plan to follow. Other ongoing projects, we just shared a list with you here. And I'll open it up to any questions or feedback. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from Lee or any members? Councilor Hatch?
Thank you, Mayor McPhail. That's a very long list of tasks. We appreciate all the effort. I just wanted to thank the committee for all your efforts. Very, very important. And Mr. Ian, I think, how long have we been talking about a Portland Road Master Plan? Wow. Yeah, a long time. So it's coming. It's coming. So, and I'm glad you were patient enough to stay involved and help us get there. So this is all really important stuff, to be honest with you. And I think moving forward for the city, I believe that one of our biggest challenges is how we manage growth and long-term housing development. There's all kinds of complicated issues. We've got lots of stuff coming down from Augusta that half of it I don't understand why we're heading in those directions, but that's just me. But lots of stuff, and I appreciate the volunteer effort to try to stay on top of that. Looking forward to seeing the fruits of your labor at some point soon.
Great, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. I'd just like to say thanks, guys. You know, I mean, it's been 6 years since we put this committee together. The work that you've done has been amazing. I think it's far exceeded what we originally thought or had hoped. It was originally just to keep the comp plan kind of in line but the assistance that you give the planning board, the assistance that you give the staff, and the time and the effort, I personally am truly appreciative of it. Started on day one with you, and I'm glad to see a lot of you still going through and working it through. Thank you. Okay, great, thank you so much.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone for being patient and waiting through all of that. So I would like to call the official meeting to order at 7:15. Would like to make recognition of all council members present with the addition of Deputy City Administrator Emily Prescott. And would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, excuse me. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great, thank you. Moving on to item number 4 this evening under general, there is nothing. Item number 5 is committee correspondence to council. Are there any council members wishing to speak? Councilor Edwards?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just wanted to put in a quick plug for age-friendly Saco. They have another wonderful meal planned at the Elks Club this Wednesday. If you do decide to go to it, there is a donation, but I don't know how much it is, but if you don't have the money, that's fine. They will still accept you. And you just need to make reservations. And the number to call is 207-710-5029. The other thing that's coming up very soon, Saco Main Street's beloved Pumpkin Harvest Festival will be taking place. And this year it's taking place on a special day, Sunday, October 19th, instead of Saturday. You can go to the Saco Main Street site to see the reasons, but it's all good. And you will still have fun. And, oh, it's in a new place this year as well, excuse me. It is at the C.K. Burns School. Due to the construction on Elm, we need to move it. And so, you know, you have it in a different locale. It's going to be very exciting. The same vendors will be there, and some new, some old, but the fun will still be there. And also from Saco Main Street, if you like to walk and you like stories, Saco Noir, True Crime and Tragedy, Spooky Walking Tour will be happening on, looks like the 25th at 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. So you have a choice of 2 different times. So you will have to register on their site, and there is a fee. There is a 25-person capacity limit for this tour, so you all are getting this information now so you can sign up right away. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, not seeing anyone. All right, moving on to item number 6 this evening, and that is public comment. So I would like to invite members of the public up to speak at the podium. You will have 3 minutes, and you will state your name and address for the record. And I do have a list here first. I will start with the people who have pre-signed up. So the first on the list, we have Dan Richards.
Hello. My name is Dan Richards. I live at 7 Pine Haven Street, Saco, Maine. Been there for 30 years. Was a good place to live. Well, every time our rent goes up, they always say it's maintenance. I have photos here I'd like you guys to see. I'll bring them right over to you so you can pass them along.
We'll come in. Thank you.
There you go. It's been patchwork, to say the least. And there's about 40% of people that live in that park are retired. They're on fixed incomes. When this rent goes up, we're going to lose neighbors. We're going to lose people in there, and they're going to lose all those little old homes that the people are living in to put new ones in, and more income goes into their pocket. It's just not right. We need this done really in an emergency situation. Now, the last time I was talking to anybody that was in the park, I brought up that there's cottontails in our area, and they're building in an area that's driving the cottontails out. One was dead in my backyard. Now, I'm not positive 100% if it was a cottontail, but by the looks of it, and I looked at snowshoes, it's a cottontail. I sent it to a warden. The warden sent it to a biologist because it was dead. They want to find out what killed it. So I also want to let you guys know that in your planning board, that when we increase in certain areas, certain things die. Okay, that's good enough for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, next on the list, we have Sarah Belanger.
I just start talking? Okay. You notice I've never been here before, right?
That's okay. Thank you and welcome.
My husband and I moved into...
Sarah, if you could just state your name and address for the record.
Sorry,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
31C Pheasant Road in Blue Haven Community. And my husband and I moved in there 10 years ago. We're both on retirement income right now, and we have been since shortly after moving in. We were employed when we moved in. I understand that prices go up, okay? They are everywhere going up. But to the degree that they are raising our lot rent so much in such a little bit of time is of great concern to me. I don't feel that we may be able to live out our retirement as we had planned on retiring there and being there until we're gone. It's a great park, okay? It really is. It's quiet. All right, and wildlife is wonderful, but I think we really do need some help in being able to try and minimize the amount of increase that's going to happen. We're all paying more. Everybody is. Groceries, gas, everything that we need to survive is going up. And this one thing here, my lot rent's going up $45 in 1 month. Okay, so I guess that's about it. I don't know what else to say. Only we appreciate if you guys could help us. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next on the list, we have John Vett.
My name's John Veit. I live at 1 Gallant Drive in Saco. I draw $1,600 a month Social Security. And that's probably about as poverty as you can get. I'm fortunate enough that I can live, I have other means, but people in this park do not have that. A lot of people are going to go hungry this winter, and they're going to be cold this winter if they don't get some help. I'm talking with the neighbors and stuff. They're not looking for a handout. They're looking for a helping hand. And they come to this council for that. And I just ask you to do the job that you're elected to do and protect the city, people of the city of Saco. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Sarah Gardner.
Hello, my name is Sarah, and I have dyslexia and the speech disorder that affects the way I talk. So I'm not under the influence, just so you know. And please be patient. If you need me to repeat something, I can do that, okay? And now I can begin.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Sarah Gardner. I live at 17 Pine Street. People call me Wishy. And I'm here today not just representing my committee and community, but also my family and my home. I've been 18 years now living in Saco, and 8 years I was on Virginia Avenue, and then now 10 years I've been in the park. I really don't want to leave Saco. However, I might not have a choice if these outrageous costs continue. These corporations don't care who they hurt. I've been struggling the past 2 years on disability with FND and lack of oxygen to my brain. And requires extensive therapy, which is very costly. I'm on top of trying to fight to get my house back. We are still expected to pay for higher health insurance premium, taxes on our homes, home insurance, auto repairs, all maintenance inside and outside of our homes, including fall and spring cleanup, and repairs on our homes, high electricity bills, student loans, propane, food, which I personally have used the food pantry in Saco, so thank you for offering that to me. And now these fees for HOA and plus the water fees on top of that, it just put me to the limit or past it. I've not gotten a raise from disability, and my check will stop in December of this year. I've already cut back everywhere. Where do I cut back now? Also, I do qualify. If I do qualify for Social Security, there'll only be 2.5% increase this year. So how will I be able to pay all these increases in fees and HOA costs? Usually the rent would go up between $10 to $40 a year. This, however, time it went up $35 in January this year, and now they want to up it $145 in December, plus water. This puts me in financial hardship and nowhere else to turn. So as a citizen of Saco, I just want my one wish for you is to ask all of you to please consider a 6-month moratorium for myself and my community here today. And Blue Haven Mobile Home Park. There is no affordable housing in Maine, and based on the other study the school board mentioned, people like myself are barely making ends meet. And I wouldn't be standing here today asking you if my life didn't depend on it. Thank you very much, guys. Sorry if I went over.
No, you're fine. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, next we have Gary Gardner.
Hi, Gary Gardner, 17 Pine Haven in Saco. First, I'd like to thank the mayor. I think it's Jody. She's come to 2 of our events. I appreciate that. I don't know what to call him, but Joe. I'd like to thank you, Joe, for being there for us as well. They came to all of our events, and it's very helpful. We've been there about 10 years, and it just, the prices go up a lot. And I'm on my wife just was before me. She's a disability, and I'm on Social Security, and it's really hard to keep up. They we had a rent increase January 1st of this year for, I think it was $35, and we've been informed December it's going to go up another $145. So that's really hard to try to keep up with that. What they didn't tell me when I was growing up, when I was old, when I got older, it'd be the golden years. Well, that's not the case. I go to so many consultations, I can't keep up with stuff. Every doctor wants to talk to you. It's quite a bit of a fee and stuff. We're having a hard time, and we have a lot of, like safety concerns. We have a large park, there's no light, half the lights are out, you can't see anything, huge potholes. I had to buy a bag of rocks, like for a pool, and stick them at the end of my driveway so I could drive out and not go in the hole. I bought, it's hard to get by. Very, very expensive. We appreciate you giving this some thought. There's a lot of people in this 252, and a good example, I think, is when I Look out my window, my neighbor on the left has like stage 4 cancer. 2 people close to where I live as well have Parkinson's disease. So it's an affordable place for a lot of different kinds of people. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next on the list, we have Jennifer Cregan.
My name is Jennifer Cregan. I live at 3 Pheasant Road, Saco, Maine, 04072. I have to say it that way or I forget pieces. Thank you, Madam Mayor, councilor members, and others here tonight. When I started living in the Blue Haven Mobile Home Park was 2003, and the lot rent was $295. Now it is $515 as of January of 2025, 22 years later. That now includes the water, which makes it about $530-something for our home per month. I have seen an advertisement of the lot rent for new people being $750. For someone with a disability and on SSDI, I can't afford that. My income, that's about half of what, if that is what it goes to for the whole park. And that would be fair, but I can't afford that. I already use food stamps and main care because I have Medicare as well, and I need the extra help program that main care allows. I use SNAP, food stamps, and food pantries, and the food distribution from the Maine youthful Maine people. That is a helpful thing, so I appreciate them being around. Limited income with an increase in lot rent will mean more reliance on public assistance. I don't know if it's going to be a good thing for the future. I tend to get more towards the what if and it being a bad thing, so yeah. We have a septic tank in the yard that had to have a pipe from the house to the septic tank. It has a rotting piece of wood covering where the pipe goes into the septic tank. It still has that. It's supposed to have a green plastic thing that is stuck in shipping, and that's from 2023. It still hasn't got to our house. That's been promised by the park. They covered it with dirt because I told them winter is coming. And then they covered it in November, and it had been since July or so. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, next up we have Hope Lambert.
My name's Hope Lambert. I live at 14 Pheasant Road in Saco. I've been a resident of the Blue Haven Mobile Home Park since September of 2002. For the most part, rent increases have been modest, typically between $5 and $25. Some years we had no rent increases at all. The largest increase was in 2007, I believe, which was $50. All the roads got repaved in the park, and for 7 years after that, there was no rent increase. On year 8, the rent increase was $10. Water was also included in the rent. There were no other years that had no rent increases as well. That all changed in 2020 when the park was sold with no notice given to tenants until after the sale went through. Now we get rent increases every year. In September of 2021, I received a letter from Blue Haven dated 9/1/2021 saying, commencing November 1st, residents will be responsible for their consumption of water usage. A second letter was received dated 9/21, which changed that first letter, saying the billing cycle for the amount due November 1 will actually be from the previous revolving 30 to 32 days of usage. Over the next few years, the usage rate changed frequently, with no advance notice of any change in the water rate. When I called and asked several times, I was told they pass on what they get charged. However, I don't know what they get charged. Last fall, I received a letter stating we could only put out leaves on Mondays and Thursdays for pickup. Any leaves left out any other day will result in a fine. The letter did not say how much the fine would be, or how long when the fine would be due, or what the repercussions would be if it was not paid. They also did not pick up the leaves when I put them out on Monday after receiving that letter, so I had to drag them back in and then drag them back out on Thursday. The following week, the same thing happened. I put them out on Monday before I went to work, got home, there was no leaf pickup. So this time I reached out to my contact, Alexa, with the park and said, I'm not dragging them back in again, I'm leaving them there, and I really hope you're not giving me a fine for this. Which they didn't, and she assured me there wouldn't be. But now after 2 rent increases this year on December 1st, I will be paying 37.5% more in rent than I did on December 1st of last year. There's less services, there's more fees, fines, threats of fines, and nothing to justify these increases. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, next up we have Mara. I'm sorry, I cannot read the last name. Is it Mara? Okay. All right, moving on to the next one. ML Leach. Oh, did I?
I'm sorry about the writing. I'm Morris Burrows. I live at 17 Gallant Drive, Blue Haven Mobile Home Park. And they've raised our rent $40 a year for the last 3 years. I get nothing done. Trees fell down in the storm of 24, where the heavy branches came down. The tree came down. I finally brought in tree service that spring. They drove all over the lawn. They punched holes in it. They left the heavy equipment there for a day and a half, overnight. I've asked them to clean up the yard. We used to play croquet in the backyard. I can't do that. I gave that to my grandkids because they love it. And for 2 years now, I haven't been able to go out there. I have fallen 4 times out there. And one time was told I had to clean up the branches from the storm, which I don't think is my deal, because anything damage I do, I'm responsible for. I understand that. They refuse to do it. They've marked some trees to take down when they moved in. They haven't done it. The squirrels have knocked the band off 3 or 4 times. I put it back up. I just disregard it now. It's never going to get done. They stopped bringing we used to put leaves in bags, or our own containers, and they'd bring them back. They made us buy our own bags at about $1.25 or more, depending on where you buy them, and they won't give them back to us. I called the main office in California. They got back to me, and they said they're sorry, that it's not cost effective, and they won't do it. I demanded that I get my bags back because I'm buying them and paying for them at the end of the season. They can throw them away, I don't care, but I'd like to get full use out of them. And then I had a dead skunk in my yard. It was there. I asked management to take care of it, and they said they don't do that. So I called the animals control. They said they don't go into private property and take care of it. So after a month, somebody moved it out into the street, and it stayed there for a week, and it came by, and I disposed of it myself. And this is the kind of things we're getting from them. We get no help whatsoever. And there's more to go, but I'm not going to go any further because a lot of it's been covered already. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, and the last one that I have on the actual written list is Linda Daniels. Oh, okay.
I'm going to skip and go right. Thank you.
Gotcha, yeah.
Hi, I probably don't need the microphone. My voice is one of those that carries. They can hear you. My name is Mary Lynn Leach. I live at 19 Gallant in Saco, over in the Blue Haven Park. I've lived there for about 5 years now. I've lived in Saco for 22 years now. The one thing that really disappoints me in this whole situation is I was planning on retiring next year, and now with 160-something more a month I get to pay, I have told my manager I don't think I'm going to be able to. So, I mean, that's how it hit me. This is like, I looked forward to it for 2 years, and now I have to change my plan around for something that I don't think is reasonable to go that much. So I just wanted to share that not only do I not think it's reasonable, we've also had some safety concerns. In between my left side, my neighbor and I, we had an electricity thing that did not get corrected for more than a year until she got a notarized letter sent to someone. And Mo and I, he's my neighbor on the other side, we had one of those trees that, was marked they were going to cut down because they're unsafe and dead. That was 4 years ago. And it is still there in between our two homes. And if it fell on either one of our homes, it would kill us because it's as big as my house is. I have one of the older ones, so it's as big as my house is. I just I guess the deepest effect for me is I can't retire next year, and that's what I've looked forward to. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, Linda.
My name is Linda. My name is Linda Daniels, and I live in the Blue Haven Mobile Park.
What is the address? Could you give the?
31 Pheasant
Thank you.
Road. I've been there roughly about 20 years, and my fiance has been there roughly 40. So with these price increases, and it's almost $200 this year, it has us very concerned. We talk about affordable housing and everything else, and this is our means of affordable housing because we cannot go out into the community and be able to afford an apartment that is roughly $2,000 along with utilities. We don't have a lot of frills. We've worked all our lives to get what we have, and this is what we have, and this is what we live by. As you see, there's a lot of emotions behind all our speeches to you. The cuts are happening everywhere worldwide. And for us, if it continues, we would have to possibly look in living in our vehicle because we can't afford a rent. And I'm sure all the federal funding will probably be gone or used up by other people. So I hope that we can do something and be able to stay where we are. And thank you very much for your time.
Great. Thank you. Okay, that is all I have for signed up. Is there any other members wishing to speak? Yep, please step forward if you'd like to speak. And just state your name and address for the record.
I'm Kathleen
And you have 3 minutes.
I'm Kathleen Felton. I live at 5 Willow Haven Street. I moved in to Blue Haven about 4.5 years ago. I'm retired. I had to retire early because I am disabled. And I love the park. One of the things that I loved about the park is there's so many trees. And we have a lot of wooded lots. In the last 2 to 3 years, the only time I've seen trees coming down have usually been when the people are gravitated toward the lots that they're cleaning up to bring in brand-new homes, the ones that are selling for over 200 grand. And the rents have been gradually going up, but I thought it was fair. $25 a year was what my rent was going up. And I started there, it was $450 a month lot rent, and then it went up to $475, et cetera. And last January, it went up to $550, and then we just got these letters within the last couple of months informing us that the rent's going up again, and mine's going to be going up December 1st in the same year, $110 extra. Naturally, I live on Social Security, so I have a very limited income, and I'm unable to really do any work that requires standing and walking. And I'm going to be 76 years old in a couple of months. And so it's creating hardship. What I wanted to say about the trees, though, and she reminded me, which prompted me to stand up, is we don't have a lot of the trees taken care of in some of the older parts of the park. And on Willow Haven, since I've lived there, there's been no care of the trees, except once in response to April, after the fact, when we had that terrible storm. My home incurred $6,000 of damage from an insurance claim. And the size of the limbs that were coming down, and these were ones that were cited as being dead, but they were still there. And when it was very windy in April, it came crashing down. I couldn't even get out of my house until they removed one of the limbs because it was like this big around, and just debris everywhere. And fortunately, a neighbor walked by and helped me bring up. He brought up small stuff to the road, and then I had to hire people to clean up the bigger stuff because I'm not able to do that. And so they invest. Since I've been there, just in a little over 4 years, they invest. They hike the rents, but they don't really do that much for the upkeep. And now this $110 is beside me because we're not seeing the improvements with the potholes and whatnot. And
Excuse me, it is over 3 minutes, and we are keeping it at a strict 3 minutes tonight, so everyone has an opportunity.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak, please step forward.
Careful for this booby trap mic here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi, thank you here for being here and listening to me. I have been living in the mobile home park.
Name and address.
Oh, Christine Boothby, 40 Pheasant Road. I've been living in the mobile home park for 33 years. I raised 2 beautiful children as a single mom. The owners before these new owners came along were very family-oriented. They cared about their tenants. We weren't paying water at the time. They had people picking up our stuff that needed to go to a larger facility, the trash. So when these new owners, out-of-state owners, who I feel that are coming into the state and buying up these mobile home parks, are taking advantage of us Mainers, our low middle income people. I work at the hospital, I'm by myself, and as you know, everything's going up. My rent will be going up, if this goes up in December, $145, which it already went up in January. And these people in our community, as you heard today, they're already strapped for the economy that we have today. And I would hope that you would all take it into consideration when the young man here that spoke about the income for a family of 4 to survive $105,000, $6,000, whatever it is. We don't have that. We work hard, and we just want to enjoy what we have. And it seems like they're out for the money and what they can make. And it's really sad to what's happening to our mobile home park. And it's also sad for other mobile home parks and what they're all going through, because it is a trend in the state of Maine. And we love our state, and we love our city. My children went to Thornton. All the school system was wonderful. And I really, really hope that you all can take this into consideration for us that are speaking to you today for a helping hand. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yep, please step forward.
I didn't sign up because I wasn't going to talk tonight, but...
That's okay.
My name is Karen Forbes. I live at 3 Pheasant Road in Saco, Maine. I've lived in my house for 23 years. When I first moved in there, I moved into a community that welcomed me with open arms, didn't care who I was, how I lived my life. We're a community, and my neighbors I've known for 23 years. We help one another. We are a family. And I've met many, many people since I lived there, and we all care for each other. And all of us are in the same spot. I just retired 2 years ago, and because of inflation, I've had to work 2 jobs to make ends meet. And then in January, we got a saying that we had to have an increase of $45 to our rent. We bared with it, and we paid that. And then this summer, we got a letter saying we have to increase $145 in December. And it's like, I don't know if I can take on a 3rd job. And I retired from my job so I work over 30 years in the school system, working with kids with disabilities. I sub during the day, 5 days a week. I work 3 hours from after school so I can make, my ends meet. And there's a lot of people in my park, my neighbors, that can't do that. I feel blessed because I'm still healthy enough that I can work a 2nd and 3rd job. But these people can't. And I just think it's a disgrace that people are coming trying to take the little bit of money that they have. So I hope you take in consideration everybody's story, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else wishing to say? Okay. I believe that I would like to invite Councilor Gunn up, former Councilor Gunn. He has a few words to the council and his residents.
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, Interim City Administrator, staff, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of Saco. Thank you for allowing me this brief opportunity to reflect upon our time together governing the City of Saco. While I am being forced by circumstances to leave office before my time was completed, I can say without hesitation that I am proud of what we've collectively accomplished and what we were able to get the ball rolling on. At the top of the list certainly was the completion of the agreement with the Army Corps of Engineers to construct the long-sought jetty spur that will both play a significant role in protecting our coastline from erosion, as well as opening the door to future community efforts to strengthen and preserve our seaside neighborhoods for decades to come. The rebuilding of our water resource facility was truly a proactive community effort in that both staff, the council, and ultimately the community, through approving the bond, ensured that we will continue to have a world-class facility that will stand strong in the face of the long-term effects of climate change and the increased reality of storms and flooding that comes with it. In the last several years, the council and staff have undertaken the long-term planning of what my ward along the Route 1 corridor will look like in the years ahead. And I was proud to support efforts from our staff, outside consultants, and dedicated community members in thinking outside the box about how our Gateway North will take shape as our community continues to grow. When I first ran for this office 6 years ago, aside from stating the desire to support economic development, which slowly but surely continues in the right direction, I stated 2 goals that were my reason for wanting to serve. My first goal was to promote and support greater participation in our civic life by more members of our community. The greater the participation, the more fair and dynamic result for all of us. I can report that we have been successful on this front. For example, as I depart after having been elected to this office 3 times, I leave having reached second in council seniority. You have all stepped up to the task of serving our community, and I hope you will continue to inspire others to do the same. My second goal was to reform the structure of this government in order to engender better results for our community as a whole. While that has led to constructive debate, I am happy to see that it is an effort that is moving in the right direction. I look forward to offering my input as an interested citizen on that topic in the years ahead. Being in this position has also given me the opportunity to advocate for my fellow residents and offer what assistance that my status could give. That has proven to be more personally rewarding to me than anything else. And I hope I can still be of help to anyone in our community who is in need. I have had the pleasure of working with 12 city councilors, 2 mayors, 4 city administrators, and some of the most dedicated and talented municipal employees that our community could be blessed to have. It has been the honor of my life to have been given the trust of the voters of my ward, and it has been a privilege to serve alongside all of you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Joe. You and I started 2019 together. It's been a long 6 years. It's been a good 6 years, and it was an honor to sit with you up here with you. And I wish you the best of luck in your new location. I hope you're comfortable and happy, and you don't go far. Thank you.
You can't go cold turkey when it comes to civics, so you'll see me around, everyone, but I'll try not to get in your way.
We wish you the best of luck. Thank you. Okay, so moving on, we have item number 7 this evening, and that is consent items. There are 4 items. A, notice of election for the general election on November 4th, 2025. B, confirmation of the mayor's appointment to the Conservation Commission of Ashley Gonzalez. Item C is the confirmation of the mayor's appointment to the Economic Development Commission of Kristen Stover. And D is the acceptance of the fiscal year 2025 annual report. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilor Johnston.
Second.
Second by Councilor Hatch. Any discussion or moving of the items? Councilor Berman?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I'd like to pull item D for further discussion.
Thank you. We will move item D to action item, and that will now become action item A. Okay, roll call vote. Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Councilor Parks?
Yes.
Councilor Berman?
Yes.
Councilor Hatch?
Yes.
Councilor Hewitt?
Yes.
And Councilor Johnston?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Okay, moving on to item 8, that is the action items. Item D under consent is now item A, and that is the acceptance of the fiscal 2025 annual report, and that is Councilor Hatch.
Thank you, Mayor McPhail. According to MRSA Title 30-A, Section 2801, municipalities are required to publish an annual report that includes financial records, asset and liability statements, and a post-audit report. For the fiscal year 2025, each department has also provided a summary of their operations. Once approved by the City Council, the report will be available on the city's website with a printed copy accessible at the city clerk's office. We'd like to acknowledge the Finance Department, Judy Belanger and Christy Sear specifically, and Administration Department, Michelle Beasley specifically, for their assistance with preparing the annual report this year. Be it resolved that the City Council accepts the fiscal year 2025 annual report as submitted by the interim city administrator. I move to approve the resolution.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Councilor Hatch, second by Councilor Johnston. Any discussion on the item? Councilor Berman.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, thank you to city staff and interim city administrator for the reports. I appreciate it. I have a couple of questions, and they fall into two broad categories. The first is about the overdue taxes and non-collected taxes. The list for 2025 is pretty substantial. I see it decreases over time. So I'm curious about efforts to collect those taxes. And then in particular, I noticed that Saco Retail Management is on the list for a number of years. I believe we discussed this last year also. And so I'm wondering specifically about efforts to collect those taxes. And then my second set of questions is really about the undesignated fund balance and where that sits in relation to our charter requirements that fall between, I think, 8.3 and 16.6%. It just wasn't laid out that way for me in the report, and I'd be curious for an update.
Thank you.
As far as the question on the first question, I will get back to the city council on that after I have a chance to talk with the tax collector. The undesignated fund balance, we will have a full audit report at the October 20th meeting, so I'll make sure they put that on the top of the list. I did report audited draft numbers at one of the previous meetings. I don't have that right in front of me, but we'll make sure to get that for you on October 20th. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, not seeing anyone. Roll call vote. Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Councilor Parks?
Yes.
Councilor Berman?
Yes.
Councilor Hatch?
Yes.
Councilor Hewitt?
Yes.
And Councilor Johnston?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Okay, moving on to what is now item B, formerly item A, one reading of the notice of vacancy for the Ward 3 City Councilor seat, and that is Councilor Parks.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilor Joseph Gunn of Ward 3 has submitted his resignation. This resignation also leaves a vacancy in the position of Deputy Mayor. In conformance with Section 2.06 of City Charter, filling this seat will require a special election with further details to follow at a later date. Be it ordered that the City Council acknowledge receipt of the resignation letter from Joseph Gunn, which creates a vacancy in the Ward 3 City Council seat. I move to approve the order.
Motion has been made by Councilor Parks. Is there a second?
Reluctantly, I'll second that.
Motion made by Councilor Johnston. Any discussion or comment on the items? Councilor Berman?
I'll probably say something more later, but just to make a brief note now, this makes me incredibly sad. Joe's been a great friend and a great colleague and really good for the city. So, well, of course, we have to vote to accept it. I wish that we didn't.
Thank you. Councilor Johnston?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I remember Councilor Gunn when he was an astute member of the audience. Oftentimes, he was the only member of the audience. And I found it remarkable how he was easy, he still is, but he was always easy to converse with and very cordial. And when he came onto council, he brought those same traits with him. You know, we didn't necessarily, as all of us, don't necessarily agree with everything 100% of the time, but I did always find it More often than not, we always found ways to work together. I appreciated that. And I think I'll take the opportunity now to kind of recognize I think there's a flaw with our charter here, because for an individual to have to give up their seat really for no, and this isn't the first, right? We've had other people, but even then, you have extreme circumstances where really it doesn't feel right for them to have to remove themselves. So I think that's something, in the future we should consider a grace period where if they can get back into a ward, it would do us all better as a community, personally. That's, again, my belief. But again, I just appreciated your time that you've given to the city, myself, just, as a fellow counselor. So thank you, Joe.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Edwards?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to publicly thank Joe for helping mentor me through my first year in office. It's been very helpful, and I will be able to be a better counselor because of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Hewitt?
Again, thank you so much for mentoring Joe, our new counselors, as we come on. You've always been willing to attend many meetings, meet with your constituents, and your thoughtful consideration on every issue has not gone unnoticed. Your approach to each decision of fairness, patience, and genuine desire to find the best path forward for our residents. That kind of commitment makes local governments work, and I hope you will serve whatever government you have moved to. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, moving on. Roll call vote. Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Councilor Parks?
Yes.
Councilor Berman?
Yes.
Councilor Hatch?
Yes.
Councilor Hewitt?
Yes.
And Councilor Johnston?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Okay, moving on to what was previously item B, which is now item C, and that is the election of the deputy mayor, and that is Councilor Parks.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilor Joseph Gunn's resignation leaves a vacancy in the position of deputy mayor for the unfulfilled term from now until the December 1st, 2025 meeting. Article 2, Section 2.05, Election and Term, subsection C of the Charter states, the City Council shall elect from its membership a deputy mayor who shall exercise all powers of the mayor during temporary absence or disability of the mayor. In the event of a vacancy in the office of mayor, the deputy mayor shall assume the office of mayor with all duties and obligations of that office in accordance with the provisions of Charter, Section 2.06C1. The mayor suggested to hold the election of the deputy mayor by Australian ballot. The council will need to suspend its rules in order for this change. If the rules are suspended, council members will vote for deputy mayor by the Australian secret ballot provided, and those ballots will be collected and tallied by the mayor. Be it ordered that the City Council suspends its rules and order of business to select a deputy mayor by Australian ballot. I move to approve the order.
Motion has been made by Councilor Parks. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Edwards. Okay. Roll call vote. Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Councilor Parks?
Yes.
Councilor Berman?
Yes.
Councilor Hatch?
Yes.
Councilor Hewitt?
Yes.
And Councilor Johnston?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Okay. Are there any councilors who wish to make a nomination or a councilor who wishes to nominate themselves for the position of deputy mayor? Councilor Hatch?
Thank you, Mayor McPhail. I would like to place a nomination, Ward 7 Councilor Nate Johnson.
Great. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Interim city manager will send out the ballots. Please write your name of the candidate you wish to elect. Need a minimum of 4 votes. Thank you. Okay, Councilor Parks.
Be it ordered that the City Council moves to elect Councilor Nathan Johnston as Deputy Mayor of the City of Saco to serve from October 6, 2025 through December 1st, 2025. I move to approve the order.
Great. Thank you. A motion has been made by Councilor Parks. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Hatch. Roll call vote. Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Councilor Parks?
Yes.
Councilor Berman?
Yes.
Councilor Hatch?
Yes.
Councilor Hewitt?
Yes.
And Councilor Johnston.
Abstain.
Motion passes 5-0 with 1 abstention, and congratulations, Councilor Johnston.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to what was formerly item C, which is now item D, and that is the confirmation of the appointment of the new city administrator, and that is Councilor Johnston.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. According to Section 3.01 of the City Charter, the mayor and the City Council shall meet jointly to review all applications for the position of city administrator. After consultation, the mayor shall appoint and the City Council may confirm a city administrator for a term of 3 years, and the City Council shall fix the city administrator's compensation. City administrator shall be appointed solely based on executive and administrative qualifications with special reference to actual experience in or knowledge of accepted practice in respect to the duties of the office of city administrator as herein set forth. City administrator need not be a resident of the city or the state at the time of appointment, but may reside outside the city while in office only with the approval of the City Council. The mayor and the City Council have collaborated with human resource consultant Betsy Alton to search for a new city administrator. After reviewing resumes and interviewing several candidates, the mayor has recommended the appointment of Ryan Pelletier as the new city administrator for the city of Saco. Ryan Pelletier brings more than 25 years of experience in leadership positions in a mix of municipal, county, and nonprofit organizations. Be it ordered that the City Council confirms the appointment of Ryan Pelletier as the new city administrator. I move to approve the order.
Motion has been made by Councilor Johnston. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Berman. Any discussion or comments on this item? Councilor Hatch.
Thank you, Mayor McPhail. I'd just like to note for the public that the selection of Ryan was a process, a really good process. I felt fortunate that I was able to serve on this council with John Bahenko and all of the experience that he brought to the table, improvements that he helped us achieve. But I'm equally confident that our selection for our next city administrator, Ryan Pelletier, will carry that mission forward. And I think we should feel fortunate as a city that we were able to secure a candidate with the credentials that he brings to the table. So I'm looking forward to working with him as well.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hey, and I would just like to say congratulations and welcome to Ryan as well. It was a long search. It was a good search. We have spent the last 2 years under the administration with City Administrator John Bahenko. And again, as Councilor Hatch stated, the knowledge and the experience that he brought to us was amazing. We completed more in 2 years than we've done in the previous 5. So I'm very happy on the path that we're moving forward. Ryan is bringing not only municipal, but county. It is going to be a very important couple of years working with our county commissioners, and I think that experience is really going to help us as we move forward with the Army Corps and some other projects. So I do want to warmly wish Ryan, and he will be starting with us in January. Okay, roll call vote. Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Councilor Parks?
Yes.
Councilor Berman?
Yes.
Councilor Hatch?
Yes.
Councilor Hewitt?
Yes.
Councilor Johnston?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Okay, moving on to item which was formerly D, which is now item E, and that is the item that was tabled on September 22nd, 2025. It is the removal from the table in one reading of the city street acceptance request per Chapter 186 standards of the Amari Court and Doopy Drive in the Amari Springs subdivision. That is Councilor Parks.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move to remove this item from the table.
Motion has been made by Councilor Parks. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Johnston. Roll call vote. Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Councilor Parks?
Yes.
Councilor Berman?
Yes.
Councilor Hatch?
Yes.
Councilor Hewitt?
Yes.
And Councilor Johnston?
Yes.
Motion to untable passes 6-0. Councilor Parks?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Jason Labonte of Home Innovations LLC requests city street acceptance review per Chapter 186 of City Ordinance for Amari Court and Doopy Drive with associated project infrastructure as indicated on the subdivision plan. The Planning Board approved the Amari Springs subdivision on October 24th, 2023. These roads were designed to public city street standards. The punch list issued from Public Works has been completed. The draft documentation is pending final legal review with the city's current city attorney. The Planning Board reviewed this matter at its meeting on September 16th and forwarded a positive recommendation to City Council, provided final legal review was completed. I move to further table this item.
Okay, motion has been made by Councilor Parks. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Councilor Hatch. Roll call vote. Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Councilor Parks?
Yes.
Councilor Berman?
Yes.
Councilor Hatch?
Yes.
Councilor Hewitt?
Yes.
And Councilor Johnston?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Okay, that completes the action items for this evening. Moving on to item number 9, which is new business, and we have a discussion of potential ordinance for the mobile home park lot rental increases.
Thank you, Your Honor. At the last meeting, councilors requested that we bring this back for a review, and tonight we have this on new business. What city staff did here was we've compiled ordinances from surrounding communities. I believe we had Stamford and at least Old Orchard Beach in there for all of us to research together. We also had the state law provisions and the relevant information that we all need to compile to start the first part of this process to bring forward for you an ordinance document. What I'm thinking I'm hearing is that you're looking for a temporary stay on lot rental increases until the state law becomes effective. So that is what we are headed toward. I think at the next meeting, what we plan to bring forward is some further research on the positives and negatives of a policy such as this, so that we as staff remain neutral but bring to you some additional details you may need to know to make the best decision for the city. So that is where we're headed as staff. Thank you.
Any questions or comments regarding the issue? Councilor Johnston, then Councilor Berman.
Thank you. So are we talking two different items, being one a moratorium or an emergency action, hopefully at the next meeting, and then a subsequent ordinance? Is that track we're on?
So we have given you both options so that you can take a look at what other communities are doing. At this point, we're focusing on just the temporary aspect of that.
And my understanding as well is part of the moratorium at this point is because there has been so much confusion around the new law with the state laws. This will give the residents an opportunity to continue trying to work with the park for the next 4 to 6 months through the next legislative session, which is a short session. So the moratorium would give them the opportunity for everybody to kind of get on the same page with the new laws, see what changes could potentially be done at this time, and then if the city chooses an ordinance going forward, that will be reviewed as a separate.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I was getting at, is that, you know, I'm in support of a emergency moratorium, and as we all get up to speed and educate ourselves, I would like to take up
And again, we
a long
have
term.
been provided copies of Waterville, Sanford, Old Orchard actually did a referendum ordinance, but right now,
Just
yes, it is a statewide concern.
As we move forward, I think it would be helpful if the residents could, you know, a lot of numbers were thrown out. Having a concise document of seeing what their increases have been, so we could, you know, track it ourselves and get a better understanding of what is occurring would be helpful for me.
Yes, I can work with the committee that is responsible at Blue Haven, see if they can get that document to us. Also, in talking to them recently, there's levels right now. Everybody is kind of at different rates, and the park is trying to bring everybody to a 660 to start, and then but anybody new moving in is at 750 and some at 800. So there could be potential increases down the road as well to get all residents on the same rental amounts.
And then just lastly, and I should have said this first, but flew over my head, I just wanted to thank everybody that came out. It's not easy to get up there and tell us your story, but I always can appreciate when we have a packed room, and it's not often. So just thank you for coming out and, again, letting us do our jobs for you.
Councilor Berman?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to echo Councilor Johnston's thank you to all the residents who came and spoke. I think I trembled the first time I stood up and spoke in front of City Council, and you guys were all so articulate and well-spoken. It really appreciated. I guess I'd also be curious, is this the only mobile home park in Saco, or are there others that would be affected? That's something I'm kind of curious about. I also wonder if city staff have any intention in reaching out to, I guess, the owners, which I guess maybe is a property management corporation. We heard a couple of different stories tonight, and one was about unaffordable and rapid rent increases, but the other was about unfulfilled maintenance and services. And so I guess I'd be curious to understand more from the company about kind of what's going on, the rationale for the rent increases, their maintenance and service plan, and kind of where all this fits together. And then if when city staff comes back, they could educate us on the state law, the timeline for the implementation, how that might affect the park residents, and how any emergency moratorium we put into place would line up with the timing of that state law. That would be really important to me. And then, you know, having read some of the ordinances you provided from neighboring towns, I also noted that some of them have drafted ordinances that limit rent increases in mobile home parks, and I'd be curious to visit that idea, but I really don't feel like I know enough right now to intercede in the business in that way. I really require some more information about what's going on and what the park has planned, and the justification for rent increases, the combination of deferred maintenance and unfixed projects that also need to get resolved. Kind of puts a little question in my mind about exactly what's going on. So that's kind of where I am right now.
Get all that?
I do, thank you.
Okay. And yes, this is the only organized park. We do have another smaller one up Portland Road a little bit more. There's only, I think, 5 or 6 units there, and it's more of a rental property than it is organized park as Blue Haven is. So yes, this is the one park in our city that is affected. There is a sistering that is owned by the same company in Arundel that they are doing the same increases to. Yep. Councilor Hatch. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilor Edwards.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you all for sharing your story. I was very moved. I also was interested in what enforcement mechanisms Saco may have to have regular maintenance, promised maintenance be fulfilled. And I don't know if that would be part of the ordinance. I was also interested in understanding if we have any ability to, whether it's through planning or through our own ordinances, to perhaps limit ownership of said parks to somewhat a regional owner. Because I'm wondering if the distance is not helping in this situation as well.
I can address the
Please.
the ownership. We don't have control over the ownership at this point. But good question.
Councillor Hatch.
Thank you, Mayor McPhail. I just, so you get a consensus here, Emily, I'm very supportive of the ideas that have been coming from council here. I think that moving from this point to a moratorium and then to an ordinance makes a lot of sense. I would, in that context, I would ask that we maximize the time of that moratorium to the extent we can. And then I wanted to dovetail onto Councilor Edwards' comment he just made, whether or not there are ways for us to beef up our zoning ordinance that would give code enforcement an opportunity to engage in making sure that prescribed repairs are getting done, and if not, what the ramifications might be. I don't know if we can push the envelope that far, but I certainly would like to talk about that.
Your Honor, I'll work on these questions as much as we can. We'll try to get answered for October 20th.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, that completes new business items this evening. Moving on to item number 10, that is an administrative update.
Thank you. The Public Works Department is currently advertising the Ferry Road Seaside Avenue intersection reconstruction and culvert replacement project. Bid specifications can be found on the City of Saco's website, sacomaine.org. Bids will be received by the City of Saco at Public Works Department at 15 Phillips Spring Road until 1 p.m. prevailing time, Wednesday, October 22nd. There will be a public opening of all bids received at that time. Absentee voting for the November 4th general and referendum elections started today in the City Hall Conference Room located on the first floor. Wards 4 and 5 will be voting for city councilors. Wards 1 through 7 will be voting on warden and ward clerk seats, as well as 2 state referendum questions. Voting will be conducted during regular business hours, and the final day to request an absentee ballot is Thursday, October 30th. The city clerk's office will offer extended hours until 6 p.m. that evening. And for more information on voting, sample ballots, and the Citizens Guide to the Referendum Election, you can go to sacomaine.org and navigate to the City Clerk's Department election and voting webpage. We had a Reimagining Route 1 community meeting with Greater Portland Council of Governments for their project that's been ongoing. At the Saco meeting, participants learned about the project's new vision statement, reviewed results from the first phase of public engagement, and they explored a list of potential projects that could shape the future of Route 1. Ideas range from traffic calming and intersection improvements to bike and ped infrastructure, public transit options, and ways to create more vibrant, people-friendly destinations along the corridor. And you can take a few minutes to complete a survey, which can be found on the city's website. And the next steps of this would be that GPCOG will identify top priority projects based on the public input, needs assessment, and feasibility screening. 2025 Pink Patch Project. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the Saco Police Department is proud to support the fight against breast cancer through the Pink Patch Project. Saco Police Department became the first police agency in Maine to register with the Pink Patch Project in 2020, and since then have raised thousands of dollars to support local breast cancer centers. This month, we ask for your help to make this project a success. All proceeds will go to local breast care centers. You can participate by purchasing a limited edition 2025 Pink Saco PD patch for $10. And you can pick up your patch at the Saco PD at 20 Storrs Street, or you can call the phone number at 207-284-4535. Saco Fire Department Halloween drive-through event. You can join the Saco Fire Department for their 5th annual drive-through trick-or-treat on Friday, October 31st from 5 to 8 p.m. at Central Station, which is 271 North Street. Families will enjoy pumpkins, ghosts, and other festive decorations, ending with a stop to collect sweet treats. Important route information, please enter through the small parking lot on the south side of the building and follow all posted signage. The Apparatus Bay area is exit only to allow it festival, so that's the CC that we spoke about. City Clerk's office, January 13th, and again, details to follow as that process. An upcoming holiday be closed on in observance of Indigenous Peoples Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, just actually one. Thanks. A citizen on Facebook had asked, the $10 for the pink, what's the rest of it? The PPP, the Pink Patch Project. Thank you. Is that, do they pay the $10 at the police station, or is there something online that they can pay? Don't know.
They can go directly to the police department, or you can call and order one, I believe. We have the chief with us
Oh, that's right
tonight.
there. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
But it's not online. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I know that they can go, but I do there. Yeah, you want to clarify for us, chief?
Thanks.
We currently do not have a way for people to like do credit card payments, so we have had people either mail us checks or cash, and then we'll send the patch off to them, but we have them in dispatch, so if anybody locally is interested, you can just stop in and get one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, that takes us to item 11, and that is council discussion and comment. Any councilors wishing to speak? Councilor Berman, then Councilor Hatch.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I didn't feel like it was appropriate earlier, but I want to say a few more nice things about Joe Gunn before we're all done. I think all of us up here like being on council, but I don't know someone who is more enthusiastic and more dedicated and adopted being on city council more into their identity than Joe Gunn. When I first wanted to get involved in politics, Joe was an advocate, a supporter, and encouraging, even that ultimately failed attempt. Joe helped me hone my stump speech and the message. Once elected, and here he was always available to bounce ideas off of, to discuss good governance, to discuss what the right thing for the city was. He literally drove me door to door as I was seeking re-election in support. But through all of that, his message is really unwavering, and his North Star was citizen involvement, good governance, and what was best for the city, and it just never wavered. And that level of dedication and enthusiasm really is unmatched in the people I know. So today is kind of hard for me because, but I feel like the city and the citizens of the city are really losing a tireless advocate. So that didn't belong in a resignation motion, but I just wanted to say it now when I had the opportunity. So Joe, we're going to miss you. The city's going to miss you. It's a loss for all of us, so thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Hatch.
Thank you, Mayor McPhail. I'm going to jump on the Joe Gunn wagon. Joe, before I joined the council, the only thing I knew about you was that you graduated with my daughter in the class of 1999 at TA, and she told me that when you lined up alphabetically, she was a Hatch, and you were right after her as a Gunn. So she said she got to stand in line with you many times. But joining the council, I'm not going to repeat, but echo, I think you're the poster child for civic duty. I really do, and I mean that sincerely. And I think that for you and I think the defining council moment was sitting on the grievance committee with Councilor Johnston, and the three of us just pounding through issues, trying to be fair, trying to be reasonable, trying to get things done, and I think we did a pretty good job working together. So I wish you well. We're all only a phone call away, so if you need some help, you let us know, and we'd be happy to step up. And good luck.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Oh, all set. Council Hatch?
Sorry, I had one more thing. We appointed a new city administrator this evening, but I wanted to mention to everybody that we've been blessed with an interim city administrator who has been steering this complicated ship for the days since John Bohanko resigned, and she'll be doing it until the day we get Ryan sitting in that seat. Emily's a workhorse, and we're very, very lucky to have her on our staff here in Saco. She does a yeoman's job. Now she's doing all of this interim work while trying to keep her real job alive with planning and all. She's got her hands in everything, thank God for that. So Emily, I just wanted to publicly acknowledge your efforts. Thank you.
Councilor Parks?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to jump on the Joe bandwagon real quick. You know, it's really one thing that I learned from Herb Adams is that your seatmate matters. You know, we come up here ideally to help people and make their lives better, and we need to be able to lean into each other and bounce ideas off of each other, and hopefully, in my case, as a new counselor, be able to learn from the leadership, as it were. And Joe really helped me with that. There was a time when I was presumptive city councilor-elect, if that can even be a title, where me and former Councilor Gunn, now, we sat at that table back there, I think it was for 3 or 4 hours, talking about nothing but city council. 3 or 4 hours, people. My wife was blowing up my phone. She didn't know where I was. I'm pretty sure there was one point in that conversation where my location had me inside the Saco River. She was freaking out. That's a true story, by the way. That's not made up. Now, you know, Joe, I thank you for the work you did for working class Saco citizens, and I want you to know, you may not be sitting next to me anymore, but you are still my friend, and you are still my brother, so thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Anything else? Anyone else? Okay, moving on to item number 12 this evening, that is executive session. Is there a motion, Councilor Hatch?
Thank you, Mayor McPhail. Be it ordered that the City Council enter into executive session pursuant to MRSA Title I, Chapter 13, Subchapter 1, Section 405(6)(e), consultation between the municipality and its attorney.
Thank you. Motion has been made by Councilor Hatch. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Hewitt. Roll call vote. Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Councilor Parks?
Yes.
Councilor Berman?
Yes.
Councilor Hatch?
Yes.
Councilor Hewitt?
Yes.
And Councilor Gunn. I'm sorry, Councilor Johnston. I kept waiting to call Mike that before I was skipping it. All right, motion passes to enter executive session at 8:38, 6-0. We will be in the city administrator's office due to the polling downstairs. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Is there a motion to exit executive session?
So moved?
Motion made by Counselor Hatch. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Edwards. Roll call vote. Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Counselor Parks?
No.
Counselor Berman?
Yes.
Counselor Hatch?
Yes.
Counselor Hewitt?
Yes.
And Counselor Johnston?
Yes.
Motion to exit executive session at 9:48 passes 5-1. You're not supposed to do that on an adjournment. Is there a report?
No report.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item 14, that is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Motion made by Counselor Hatch. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Edwards. Roll call vote. Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Counselor Parks?
Yes.
Counselor Berman?
Yes.
Counselor Hatch?
Yes.
Counselor Hewitt?
Yes.
And Counselor Johnston?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn passes at 9:48. And thank you, everyone, and have a great evening.